And warmly welcome everyone to the inauguration of the chemistry pilot of Europe's, or perhaps even the world's, largest piloting plants and ecosystems, VTT's Bioruukki. Today we learn about what this extension will mean for chemistry, businesses and economies, and how it will shape the world we leave to future generations. We'll get a tour of the facilities, hear about the history that has brought us here, and the future, of course, that lies ahead. We'll learn about the challenges this chemistry pilot will tackle. My name is Peter Nyman. I'm not a scientist, I'm a journalist, an entrepreneur, a coach. I host a lot of events, and all these events come with a specific feeling. And here I can sense it's very much about excitement, even hope, actually. And I thought to myself, wow, I've been missing that part lately. I think you all know what I mean. So let's have a celebration of a future that is all but cancelled. This event is also a chance for all of us to connect and interact. So please send us questions and comments. You'll be able to see the message board when you are not in full screen mode. So you can use it to send messages and to see what others are chatting about. So please share with us what chemistry means to you. So if you'd like to watch in full screen mode, whenever you want to chat, make a comment or ask a question, just press the escape button and go out of full screen mode and use the three lines bottom left corner of the screen to chat with others. And now back to hope. I would like to welcome someone who is bearer of, should I say, exponential hope. Welcome CEO of VTT, one of Europe's leading research and innovation powerhouses, Antti Vasara. Antti, welcome. Big day for you. As a journalist, I can tell this place is full of good news, but what's the real big story here?
You can take two angles to the story. On one hand, Bioruukki is the place where we are solving the grand challenges that mankind is facing, climate change, resource depletion.
Thank you for that.
The other angle you can take is that this is the place where we are helping companies to build new businesses, renew their product lines. But the real story is that actually these are not different stories, but they're one and the same. So in the past, companies needed to choose between being sustainable or generating growth, and in Bioruukki you can do both. And that's what we are really proud about.
Integration.
That's integration.
In one word.
In one word.
Which is
well.
great. The Bioruukki piloting plant is already a place one could get lost in. And now it's getting even bigger. Why do you have to put so much in one place?
Well, if you think Bioruukki is big, wait till you see the industrial scale plants. So we are the place where companies can come and scale up their production, going from research test tubes to truckloads of materials. And that requires already quite some scale, even if it's only piloting.
So bigger is better in this case?
In this case, bigger is definitely better. And the other part is then that doing bio-based products is actually quite a complex process. There are many steps. And at Bioruukki, we have everything in one facility. So you can either go with one specific part or you can go the whole way. And that's also pretty unique, we think.
It's like synergy and logistics as well,
and basically you can cover the whole life cycle of research there.
All right, sounds good. Hey, now I'd like to introduce two more people: Lars-Peter Lindfors, Senior Vice President of Innovation at the world's third most sustainable company, Neste, and Jussi Manninen, Executive Vice President at VTT, with a responsibility for solutions for natural resources and the environment. Welcome. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Jussi, how do you feel today?
First of all, I feel super excited. All the planning, construction out of the way, and we are actually getting into action. And
I can only imagine, yes.
Yes. And second, I'm also very proud of all the efforts of our talented and really skillful people who have actually made this possible.
That's good. Hey, well, then of course you're the right person to tell us a bit more concretely what meaningful chemistry actually means.
Well, it actually means chemistry making our everyday life better. So
because I thought meaningful chemistry is something happening between two people.
Well, actually, I mean, once you actually get into that sort of mode where we are talking about making our lives better, then you're also talking about connecting industries, connecting people. So yes, there's also that element. But if I talk about more from the side of our everyday products that we use, how we're actually a very wasteful society, and what we need to do is basically start recycling much more material. This is something where chemistry and of course our piloting will definitely make a difference. Another one is that we're trying to get rid of the fossil raw materials, and so switching into bio-based renewable raw materials. That's again something that we can help companies to find. As Antti was saying, you are at the same time making the world a better place, plus also finding new business.
And the clock is ticking, of course.
The clock is ticking actually quite fast.
Lars-Petter Lindfors, Neste has you set some pretty impressive emission reduction goals, both for customers and yourselves. Does Jussi's priorities match sort of, or description match your priorities?
Yes, I think they fit perfectly. I mean, both bioeconomy and circular economy are at the core of Neste's strategy. And as you might know, also in the audience, Neste has transformed itself in the past decades into the world leader in renewable fuels. And the foundation for this transformation is based on science, technology, engineering. And we are continuously innovating new solutions and looking for broadening our feedstock. And we do all of this together with the partners that we have, such as VTT. And then if we mention something also about our very exciting agenda, so on top of the existing waste and residues that we are working on daily, we are also working on waste plastics, municipal solid waste, algae, lignocellulosics, and renewable hydrogen and power to liquids. So it's really an exciting time to be in science and technology.
Yeah, you made a big step over the years, I mean, and the world has noticed, of course. Talking about Neste now. Hey, Jussi, with Neste being the benchmark example for energy and fuels here, what other key industries do you see in this picture?
Well, actually, there's a lot of industries. Almost all industries could actually benefit from what we do. And I guess we have a lot of industries now joining us online on this. So we're talking about chemical, maybe construction industries, energy industries. The boundaries between different traditional industries are blurring anyway. I can take an example, for example, that we are working also with mines. We are working on extraction of metals, how we can actually extract the metals from very sort of the wastes and others. So in the end, the cell phone that you have will have a sort of a more ecological battery. So that is one of the examples. So really we are working with different types and industries that touch our everyday life. We work on textiles, we work on plastics, things that we touch, feel every day.
Yeah, textiles. You can make textiles out of stuff that comes from the woods.
Yes, and we can also recycle. As we can recycle plastic, we can also recycle textiles.
Antti, would imagine that in addition to being sort of more efficient and creating new solutions, there's also international regulation that companies just need to adapt to. Do you see this as a driver for development or for developing chemistry solutions, or is it actually as much a problem?
I think in the times of tackling climate change and these types of things, regulation is more a driver and enabler.
It forces you to change.
It forces everybody to change, but it's also, of course, something that where we need to make sure then that the regulation goes also in the direction that where businesses can then operate and gives the incentive then to do the right type of new future-proof.
Yeah, of course, regulations as such is not good. It's not enough, but you have to make sense.
They have to make sense. Of course, there are also then the aspects of then that the products that are made need to be safe to produce, safe to use, safe to recycle. So safety is also an important aspect there.
Hey, it would also be good to know what kinds of organizations the Bioruukki chemistry pilot is an ideal companion for. Lars Peter, to start with you, what is the value of this platform for you?
Yeah.
And I mean, for a global company like Neste.
Yes. So as I mentioned already, I mean, we work very much on innovation together with partners. And for us, VTT is an important strategic partner. And if you look at the capabilities that we are looking for from our partners, is of course something that we can leverage on in our own research and doing it together. And here Bioruukki is really an important piece in the puzzle that really enables us to develop from the test tube level all the way to scaling up. So it is really important. But I would also like to say that it's important generally for the chemical industry as a whole and for retention of know-how and knowledge in Finland, because we need to be on a high level in knowledge in order to be competitive. So for us, it's great to have a trustworthy partner nearby that with whom we can work in an agile way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, but it sounds, of course, like a massive amount of research, testing, and investment as well, of course. Is this a place for like big market leaders?
It is a place for actually companies small and large, new and old.
Okay.
Because basically they all are sharing the same issue. They're thinking of making something new. They maybe have tested it in the laboratory, but how to actually make it work, how to make business out of it. That's where we come to play in order to sort of reduce the risk, test the technology, scale up the technology, which means going from the cup full to truck full.
Yeah, okay.
And so we are sort of trying to carry them across a valley of death.
Sounds a bit scary, but I get the
But we are a trustworthy partner to go hand in hand. And it's really about going hand in hand. What we can, of course, provide is the equipment that we have. We can provide the expertise. We have people who've been doing this for years and years. But we also need the client and their knowledge on the processes, on the products, and actually combining, so sort of making the chemistry match between the client,
again, yeah.
back to chemistry, between us and the client is very important if we want to succeed.
Right. And Antti, it's a place for progressive companies with times being tough. Do you see companies taking steps to actually, renew their businesses?
Yeah, yes, exceedingly. And I think that during tough times, you don't have any other choice but to renew yourself.
But it costs money, of course, resources.
Always, but it's an investment in the future. And it's also sort of then that if you look at how much pandemia has been able to disrupt the world, think about that what will happen when climate change really kind of like starts to be visible. So that's why now is the time to invest into those solutions that help combat that and that we can already beforehand alleviate. And I think that very many companies are jumping on that one.
But as we said, clock is ticking, time is running. If not out, but it's running anyway.
It's ticking, and some people think that it's ticking slowly, but when you think about the investment cycles here, now is the right time to make those decisions that we are in right shape in the 30s and 40s.
Hey, thank you, gentlemen. Now I'd like to ask our audience what chemistry means to them. So what will chemistry enable or solve? And you who have not sent in questions or comments yet, please go to the message board, write down your thoughts, and we'll check them a bit later. Please do continue to share your comments, questions, whatever you want to write or do throughout the event. But let's see, Lars Peter, there's one at least for you. With regard to Neste's transformation process, which was more difficult, making the strategic choices or developing the technologies to help with this transformation?
That's a really good question, I think, and I think from our point of view, we are in it for combating climate change. So we are bringing renewable solutions to the table by slowly being able to replace crude oil with low carbon solutions. So in that sense, the vision is easy to make, and the strategy then, of course, how can we do that? And here we are now running on several horses at the same time. I mentioned the lignocellulosics, municipal solid waste, renewable hydrogen. And so in that sense, it's easy to make the choices, but then which will be the winners in the end? That takes, as Antti said, it takes a decade to know. So that's why we need to run on those horses in parallel, and with time we are then able to see which are also the cost competitive solutions that have this impact. So I think the more difficult is really now to work on getting the technologies to be cost competitive.
But you said it's sort of like, an angel investor. You can't just choose one company.
Exactly.
You choose 20 or 10 at least.
It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's like a portfolio thinking in a way. Yes.
Right. Jussi, how will you differentiate your activities from other piloting platforms? What is unique about the offering?
I think it's a combination of actually what we have as processes. As Antti was already mentioning, we can go from different raw materials all the way through the processing to the end products, which is unique. But I think but that's only sort of pots and pans and brick and mortar. It's really also about the knowledge and the capabilities of our researchers. And I think that combination is the differentiating factor.
And comments is not only about questions we have from Antonio Gaza, who will hear a bit later. Congratulations to VTT for this major milestone.
Thank you.
Nice to have these messages as well.
Yes,
So exactly,
exactly,
you can congratulate or send, just to add to the feel-good factor as well if you want so. But questions are good, of course, comments, whatever, if you want us to clarify something as well. Anyway, next up, let's hear from some of the people who are working on all kinds of innovations that are pushing the industry and our future forward. Let's meet some of the Bioruukki superstars.
Greetings from Hydrometallurgical Pilot Plant in Bioruukki. Actually, we're working in the European project on battery-grade chemicals.
Greetings from Mopsu. We are here at Frankfurt, converting CO2 into fuels.
Greetings from Espoo, where I work with high temperature and high pressure pipe flow reactors, such as this one.
I'm Pauliina, a research scientist in VTT. Hope to see you all in the process chemistry pilot in the future.
Plastics and recycling, that's my part of the science. My name is Satu and I work here as a research scientist.
Well, you saw a lot of happy faces and talent there. Now we've heard a lot about the new pilot and all of the innovations, and we see people who work there as well. Next, it's time to go inside and see where all the magic actually happens. Let's take a tour of Bioruukki and the new pilot platform.
Chemistry is involved in everything we do. Ultimately, chemistry can help to ensure the well-being of our planet in the future by rising to global challenges such as climate change, resource sufficiency, and plastic waste in nature. Chemistry can help us, for example, discover alternatives to fossil-based raw materials and energy, the sustainable recovery of rare metals for the battery industry, and in eliminating plastic waste in nature by enabling new recycling technologies. VTT Bioruukki integrates expertise in all these areas under one roof, including thermochemical conversion, biomass fractionation, hydrometallurgy, and now also process chemistry. The unique process chemistry piloting platform enables the creation of new bio-based products, helps to speed up R&D cycles, and boosts resource sufficiency by developing circular solutions. Here, our experts innovate and create industrially viable solutions for various raw material streams, including biomass, electric and plastic waste, and CO2. Even challenging material streams can be utilized with the help of, for example, pretreatment, chemical modification, process development, including chemical catalysts, and modeling and concept screening. Our aim is to develop applications for transforming existing industrial processes or for launching completely new lines of business for our customers. Sustainability, high performance, and safe by design are all key elements when developing chemical and material solutions. Helping to turn an innovative idea into a real success, VTT's Process Chemistry Pilot Centre provides wide-ranging expertise, modelling and piloting capabilities. It enables customers of any size to develop and scale up innovations and processes towards commercial solutions with accelerated product and process R&D cycles. Demanding chemical processes are a key for renewing industries. The Bioruukki Process Chemistry Piloting Platform, our expertise and a wide network of partners are ready to take your ideas further and to improve the competitiveness of your industry. Welcome to a new era of process chemistry.
Thank you. And that sure looks like a place where things get done, doesn't it? And nice gluey things as well. I like them. So next, let's hear from someone, actually the gentleman who sent us the nice comment a few minutes back. He knows firsthand about the power of chemistry. Antonio Garza, he's Vice President of Polyester Recycling at DAC Americas, an Alpec polyester company. Let's see Antonio telling us about his relationship with VTT Bioruukki and how they are helping you to power a more sustainable future.
Hello, and greetings from Charlotte, North Carolina. Congratulations to VTT on this grand opening of their new pilot facility. I'm Antonio Garza, Global Vice President for Polyester Recycling. My company, Alpec Polyester, is a global producer of PET resin for the food and beverage packaging industry, polyester fibers, polyester raw materials, as well as recycled PET. Together with VTT, we're working to develop a sustainable solution to increase shelf life of food and beverages while maintaining the great recyclability attributes of polyester. Our innovation process with VTT confirms the importance of having a partner with ample knowledge of fundamental chemistry, as well as the capabilities and experience to evolve an idea from concept to reality. Taking concepts in the lab and then further into a pilot facility while supporting the review of downstream processes and end uses is extremely valuable. Incorporating end users and techno-economic analysis and then assisting in the industrial scale-up are essential elements of successfully launching new technologies. VTT's talented and balanced team, from research to piloting and business development, is a pleasure to work with. We look forward to future partnerships with VTT to continue solving our industry challenges through meaningful chemistry. Again, congratulations to the VTT team for this new pilot facility and best of luck.
And thank you, Antonio, for joining us all the way from North Carolina. Great to hear what you've been up to. Now turning to take a look at the path that has led to this point, I'd like to introduce our next speakers, Tuula-Mari and Mika. And here you are. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mika, I believe that the chemistry pilot gathers quite a long history of experience under one roof.
Yes, indeed. Although we are here to celebrate our newest pilot facility, we have a long experience in chemical piloting and handling bio-based raw materials. Our heritage actually comes from late 90s in Rajamäki, where we operated a pilot plant that was originally built by a Finnish alcohol company.
Sounds good.
Yes, they were looking for new businesses from their bio-based raw material starch. The starch chemistry is still kind of base of our knowledge in modifying other natural polymers like cellulose. Roughly at the same time, we also built a new, little bit smaller pilot plant in Otaniemi, Espoo.
And Mika, further, can you give us some examples of what you've done and what kind of customers?
Yes, as already mentioned, as Jussi mentioned a couple of times, we have customers, large companies, and also startup companies, for example.
Which is good to hear. That's a nice thing. Yeah.
They are developing kind of technology concepts to the new business opportunities.
And that's what we need now as well.
Correct. So in the early years, we were involved in developing a new process for starch-based paper chemicals with the Chemigate company, a medium-sized company in Finland. And we also worked that time with a feedstock development for renewable fuels, as Lars Peter was mentioning, with Neste and also with ST1. And more recent piloting examples include, for example, scale-up of specialty chemicals for Kemira. And as we just heard, we are a key R&D partner in development of special polymers for DAC Americas, a major global polyester company.
And then you are sort of further developed over time, of course.
Yeah. And one thing that is important today is also textile fiber technology. So we have been working with a startup called Infinite Fiber Company and also Metsä Group in scaling up their textile technologies before they actually invested in the large demonstration units.
Right.
So recycled and cellulose-based textiles is an important and hot topic right now.
Yeah, imagine how huge the textile industry is globally. So of course that's, can you imagine a huge potential. So how do you see this sort of facility further strengthening what you have to offer?
Well, this is a good question. I mean, with the renewed process chemistry pilot, we have first enhanced safety of operations because of more space, better chemical handling, and new ways of working. Then we have a step change in process control and capability to collect high quality process data that enables us and our customers to use the modern digital tools of scale-up. So it's not only pilot, it can be digital twins and virtual piloting in future as well. We have made new major investments to catalytic conversion and hydrometallurgy facilities. And since now we are under one roof, it's easier to utilize the synergies between the different Bioruukki platforms.
Tuula-Mari, I want to ask you how you view the role of chemistry in society.
First of all, very good afternoon to the audience, wherever you are, and thanks, Peter, for asking this very important question.
Oh, you're welcome.
So
it was the right question.
Yeah, exactly. So the role of chemistry is really fundamental in our society, and simply because there is no life without chemistry. And I also think
we are all chemistry.
Yeah, basically yes. And I also think it's fundamental because it's a great enabler. With chemistry we can. So for instance, we can reduce emissions from different type of processes, we can capture carbon and reuse it, or we can develop technologies based on renewable and recycled feedstocks, as was already told by the previous speakers here. So all this with chemistry. And I think that chemistry is really a central part of our society. And also the key and core of our activities at VTT Bioruukki. So in all of our innovation, research and development and demonstration activities, chemistry plays a major role. And under one roof, there is a lot of expertise and innovation power and experience. And we are really creating solutions for times to come. And all that with chemistry. And then if you think for a moment, kind of times we are living right now because of the pandemic,
And other challenges as well, of course.
Yeah. So I think that the meaning of chemistry and importance of chemistry it's much more important than ever before, I would say, and especially when we think about security and safety. So it provides us all with the kind of materials supply security, for one example.
And looking into the future and looking forward, so what's next? I mean, future things to come.
Many things, but if I should mention a couple of them, we are already developing green building blocks, and these are so-called bio-based monomers typically, and the idea is that we polymerize them and apply as films or barriers in different type of packaging solutions, for instance. So I think that this will continue also in the future. Then thinking about a little bit was what Antti was already saying about this tightening regulations. I think that will be more pronounced also at VTT Bioruukki in the future. And this European Chemical Agency, they have a rather long list of harmful substances, phthalates for instance, and we need to find alternatives for replacing these and apply this kind of a safe by design principle much more in the future. And my third example would be applying new process concepts and development for broadening of the raw material feeds. This was already said by Lars Petter Lindfors earlier, but really that we are now talking about from textile waste to mining waste, from batteries to plastic waste. And in all those we need to develop concepts and process technologies to enable circularity. So
we're still a long way to go.
Yeah. And particularly this plastic recycling is a hot topic and of course a huge opportunity as well. So Antti already touched upon it on his Exponential Hope compilation. And moreover, VTT is very active in this topic. We are a member of Circular Plastic Alliance, which is launched by the European Commission, and especially 3 topics there. So construction, packaging, and electronic working groups. And there we try to create solutions together with other European players, meaning industries and other RTOs as well.
And we have to get rid of those damn microplastics as well.
Yeah, that is one
all over the
big
place.
topic. Yeah. And really, I think that this plastic recycling is a very good example of a global challenge that we need to have a wide range of collaboration and really join our forces in order to create global solutions. And this is exactly where chemistry comes into a central role. And it's because of its great enabler and really integrator, connecting people with different competencies and backgrounds and different technologies, industries and academia, research institutes all together, and all together we can reshape the future. That's really at VTT Bioruukki.
Tuolevainen and Mika, thanks for showing us what's ahead, looking into the future, but as well, I mean, how we came here, the path leading to where we are today. Interesting to hear. Hey, anyway, we have, of course, more questions. Tuula-Mari, the first one is for you. In which sense can the plant be a model to develop projects for circular processes? Can you give an example?
Well, I can give a kind of example where we combine our kind of processes and also competencies. So, for instance, talking about mining streams, we can recover fillers or pigments from there and then reuse them as additives in plastics. So that is one kind of a circularity example.
Okay. And Mika, which are the challenges offered by mechanical and chemical recycling of plastics?
Well, plastic recycling is a hot topic, as we all know. We don't want those plastic to be in the environment. It's also potential for raw material for industry. So in plastic recycling, there are these 2 components, mechanical recycling and chemical recycling. And the main challenge is, as I see, is that when you do mechanical recycling, you actually downgrade your quality of plastic. You cannot make as valuable products from recycled plastic as the virgin plastics. And then another major challenge is that the plastic waste is unutilized because the lot of big part of the plastic waste is so bad quality and contains contaminants and is not clean enough to make a mechanical recycling.
So it's too much work to make it sort of
yes, and technically difficult. So, but then of course you need to have the whole plastic waste stream to treat it somehow. So there comes to the picture the chemical recycling.
All right.
So it doesn't have to be so pure. You can put maybe more mixed materials, and then you can, by chemical recycling, you kind of break the plastics in the starting components, and then you can polymerize that again to new plastics. And that is a feedstock for companies like who are producing plastics. So you have to solve both. You have to integrate the mechanical recycling, but that what cannot be recycled mechanically can be then chemically recycled to new plastic materials. That's how I see it.
Thank you both for clarifying this. And thank you for we've got a number of questions and comments and stuff, which is very thank all of you for that as well. And please do continue to send them, and I guess the organization will answer these questions and comments a bit later then on your own forums and stuff. Yes. So please do send us more stuff. Now, Sampo Lahtinen. Sampo Lahtinen is Vice President of Research and Development and Technology, Europe, Middle East and Africa at Kemira, a groundbreaking company that is also using chemistry to change our world for good. Let's hear what Sampo has to say about the new process chemistry facility. Yes.
Hello and greetings from Kemira R&D in Espoo, Finland. My name is Sampo Lahtinen and I'm the head of Kemira R&D in the EMEA region. And I'm really happy to congratulate VTT for opening of the new chemistry piloting facility in Espoo, Finland. VTT is long-standing and an excellent partner for Kemira in R&D due to the very broad competencies of VTT, our co-location in Espoo, and of course the smoothness of doing business with VTT. The new chemistry piloting facilities further contribute to the excellent competencies of VTT in the field of chemistry. At Kemira, we are really looking forward to continuing and expanding our collaboration with VTT. Thank you.
Thank you, Sampo. Good to hear what you're working on. At the beginning of this event, we said that this should be a celebration of the future, and I, for one, I do feel more optimistic now. I also think that people in general would feel the same if they just learn a bit more about chemistry. Antti, I bet you're optimistic. I understood that in the beginning of this event as well. But tell me more about your source of optimism.
I get my optimism and hope from science and technology. We're privileged to see in our own work then that kind of like that all the things that are coming from science and technology, so we can sort of peer a few years forward, and that gives me hope and optimism in the sense that I can see that we can do stuff about climate change. We can act on these problems.
But would you be doing science fiction, but being facts anyway? So
it's science fiction. It is science fiction in a sense that we know that things can be done. Now our job is to, of course, kind of continue the research, but also then to motivate, inspire companies then to go and kind of pick up on these. And we need to make it easy for companies to start commercializing these things, and that's also our job.
Do you think the world is doing enough to overcome the challenges we have now?
I think we desperately need the sense of urgency, and we need to pick up the pace. And I think that the sense of urgency is a little bit unevenly distributed. But we want, through our own actions and through the things that we work on, spread the message that, hey, these problems are solvable if we so choose. And that's sort of then that which hopefully will lead into kind of like picking up the pace of urgency and also setting ambitious goals. But of course, understanding that then that it requires hard work and a lot of investments on the way. So how to pace it, how to do it in a smart way that we can also afford it.
And are you sending these messages to companies only, or also, political leaders and
anybody who wants to listen? Anybody who wants to listen, but of course, VTT works mainly with the companies and kind of like with our owner, the Finnish government. So of course, in that way, then that's the key audience for us.
Hey, congratulations for the opening of the new facility. How did you, VTT, fund this new expansion?
We invest our own money. Part of it is coming from the government, part of it is coming from the work that we do. And we invest into these types of new areas where we see that new research facilities, new competencies need to be built. So also this piloting facility that's now inaugurated is coming from our own money, because we think that this is a really good investment for both for industry, for Finland, for Europe and the world.
Which is good to hear. So this situation now didn't give you cold feet either. So it's
easy. It's easy to believe in this one.
That's good. Hey, Antti, as the last program number here, we'll hear a young musician who creates amazing stuff with just one violin. And there's a specific reason we have this performance here. Do you want to tell more about this?
Yeah, in the performance that we will hear, the musician is combining hundreds of tracks together to make the piece that he's playing, and in a way that's sort of symbolic of how also research and innovation work is. Then that you combine lots of knowledge, lots of different types of streams together, then to make that
innovative stuff.
Yes,
together.
Yeah. So let's enjoy the performance.
Thank you, Pekka Niemi. What you heard was actually created on 700 different tracks. Amazing stuff. So thank you for joining us celebrating the opening of the new VTT process chemistry pilot. And thank you all for your comments. And please make sure to make the most of the new facility. Thanks. Bye-bye.